want you focused on the bill so you're not focusing on the rescission package. Because they're getting ready to codify every single cut they made. They don't want you talking about that. Every single department is going to be codified under the U.S. Constitution. NRLB, gone. FEMA, gone. EEOC, gone. Forever. Fuck that bill. You need to be focused on the rescission package. All of these departments that were oversight, gone. Every department that was trying to hold Musk accountable for all of the things he was doing wrong with his company, gone. Listen when I tell you, this is way more serious than that bill. Because all of these cuts will be cut forever. Get on the phone and call your representative and start talking about the rescission package. Because if they get that codified into law, it doesn't matter who comes back into office. It will be the law.
NPR and PBS, defunded. USAID, defunded. Human Rights Council, UNICEF, peacekeeping missions, defunded. Now, this is not part of the big, beautiful bill. This is something completely different. And it's not over yet. This afternoon, the House of Representatives narrowly passed something called a rescissions package. Rescissions packages are not new. Presidents often send them to Congress. In this rescissions package, Trump requested that Congress solidify into law some of the cuts made by DOJ to the federal government. And he asked lawmakers to claw back $9.4 billion from additional programs, agencies, and organizations that Trump believes are wasteful. Final vote, 214 to 212. 6 members did not vote. All the yes votes came from Republicans. All the Democrats voted no, along with 4 Republicans who also voted no.
Today's passage of this initial rescissions package marks a critical step towards a more responsible and transparent government that puts the interests of the American taxpayers first. It's just one of the ways that Republicans are codifying DOJ's findings and putting taxpayer dollars to better use. There'll be more of this in the days ahead.
Now, I told you in this video all about this rescissions package and what was included, but I'll share some of the items again with you now. It includes things like cutting $1.1 billion from PBS and NPR. That would entirely cut the funding for public broadcasting for the rest of this year through fiscal year 2027. By far, the overall biggest cuts are proposed for foreign aid and the State Department. The rescissions package that was just approved by the House cuts more than $8 billion from things like USAID, from American contributions to the United Nations, the Human Rights Council, international peacekeeping missions, the Democracy Fund, UNICEF, and global health programs for maternal health, HIV, AIDS, and infectious diseases. Now, the thing about rescissions packages is they only need a simple majority to pass the House and a simple majority to pass the Senate. So this package and all these cuts were approved by the House today. Now the rescissions package moves to the Senate, where it can also pass with just a simple majority instead of the normal 60 votes. But rescissions packages also come with a countdown clock. Lawmakers get 45 days to pass it through both the House and the Senate, and if they don't pass it through both chambers, it dies. So Trump sent this rescissions package to the House on June 3rd, which means if it is going to become law, it needs to be passed in the Senate no later than July 18th.
All right, Shalom. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to our apostles, elders, and bishops here at Great Millstone for teaching this truth that's gone all around the earth. And shalom to the hopeful elect out there. This is your brother Atazawan from the Great Millstone here in St. Louis. I'm going to dive into a real quick lesson, okay, based on, what we see that's going on in Congress, this particular bill that they're trying to pass, and the rescissions bill that they're putting forth, all right, to basically wipe out all of the agencies that would help the citizens of Babylon, okay, which will in turn bring a much more or a more evil time here in Babylon, right? Because the Babylonian citizens rely upon the safety net of the so-called federal government, which that will eventually be removed. Okay, especially if this particular bill passes. So as I meditated on that and thought about what it will take, okay, for those out there, all right, if you're not in this truth, you're in a very bad situation right now, all right. Jacob's trouble is on the way. World War III is brewing. You see what's happening over there between that land over there and the Amalekites, all right, against the Iranians. You see that? So we're at the door, and it's going to take a great deal of faith, okay, in order for you to make it, all right, because everything that you know about that's here to help you will be gone, all right. So with that being said, I'm just going to jump into a real quick lesson here. All right, as we see here, this is 2 Timothy 3, and it says right there, difficult times will come, and we're upon those difficult times right now. All right, with the job market the way that it is, with the economy the way that it is, so-called rent and utility bills and everything is just going sky high. All right, the economy is all out of whack. All right, and you have the people beginning to rise up. All right, you got protests all around the country. All right, so we're here, okay? So let's just read this real quick and we'll be done. Shouldn't be too long. It's 2 Timothy 3:1. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, and led away with diverse lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge, right, of the truth." And that's what you see. It describes all the people that you could think of in this world today. These are certain attributes that identify a person who is really not living by faith or has not received the gift of faith, okay? Because faith is a gift, and you're going to have to use faith in these last days when everything else that you know of, that you're familiar of, right, that you depend on and rely on, comes crashing around your feet, okay? What are you going to do? Ephesians 2:4 says, "But the Most High, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, hath quickened us together with Mashiach. By grace ye are saved." Right? Going on, it says, "And has raised us up together and made us sit together in heavenly places in Mashiach Yahushua, that in the age to come he might show the exceeding riches of his grace, his kindness towards us through Mashiach Yahushua. For by grace are you saved, through what? Faith." You see? So that grace is coming through faith. And that's what you're going to have for these latter times, okay? All right? Where the Lord has poured out his grace really on his elect. All right? And we'll finish this up in verse 8, and it says, "And that not of yourselves, it is the gift of Yahweh." All right? So the Lord gave us men, women, and children who believe in this gospel the gift of true faith. And that's what it's going to take. Because you'll see that these so-called Christians, especially these black Christians, right, and the black church, you know, they say they have faith, but their faith is conditional, right? So long as, you know, God, quote unquote, does good things for them, then they have the faith, okay? But when things tend to go left, or when things get hard for them, they waver, okay? They're unsure, right? Your faith should be sound as a rock. You see? Again, verse 8, "For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of Yahweh, not of works, lest any man should boast, for we are his workmanship," right? So the Lord works on us, right? As his children, he chastises us, he quickens us, he builds us up, okay? He puts us through trials, tribulations, right? And use your faith to grow, and so forth in the spirit. Okay, this is how he's going to build you to be a soldier, right? For these times, right? To be able to soldier through these tough times, right? Through faith. For we are his workmanship created in Mashiach Yahushua unto good works, which Yahweh hath before ordained that we should walk in them, right? So going again, speaking on the elect of the Lord, okay? Building us up in the spirit to endure these hard times that are coming. This is Hebrews 11:1, and it reads, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? And that's where, again, you say a lot of these people today, they only have faith as long as they could see it themselves. So they could touch it, they could feel it, they could see it, and so forth, right? They use their natural senses and then tell you that they have faith. But when everything is wiped away from them, then you'll see them waver, right, and doubt the Lord, you see. And those of us who are in this truth, you know, all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we don't operate that way, right? We've become that created or new creature, right, where we put our faith in the word of the Lord, okay, and in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. See? Verse 2, for by the elders, for by it, the elders obtain a good report. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Right? And you have a couple examples here that Paul goes into, and it's written to the Hebrews, which are the Israelites. Okay? Trying to let them know, even in Paul's time, that it was important for them to understand having faith in Yahushua, right? That your faith is not based just solely on your works. Your faith, your works will show that you have faith, and your faith will help you to do the works. So you'll have both, all right? Because you don't want to boast in the fact that you're able to, keep the law. Yeah, the law is important, okay? But it's ultimately faith in Yahushua, right, that will bring that salvation. Let's read verse 4. It says, by faith Abel offered unto the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, the Most High testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Yahweh had translated him. For before his translation he had the testimony that he pleased Yahweh. But without faith it is impossible to please him, for he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. For by, verse 7, by faith Noah, being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world, and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. So these evil days are upon us, and we're going to have to live according to faith, not according to what your 401k says, not according to what your retirement check is, not according to your job, not according to your fame, your popularity, not how many subscribers you have, not how well your YouTube page is going. None of that is going to matter in these days to come. This is the parable of the sower. Okay, this is Matthew 13, and it reads, hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When one heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy received it. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, by and by he is offended. And that's where you find most of these jakes now. They're offended at the word, okay? Especially this word of truth. He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. And we've, over the years, had many examples of people who claimed that they were Israelites, believed in the Lord, and then when the persecution from the world came, right, they backed off of it, right? They didn't want to make other people uncomfortable, and they wanted to maintain their riches on this side, okay? That's an example, all right? These are people with no faith, okay? Verse 23, but he that received the seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60, some 30, right? And so the word is increased through the hearing of the word, through the teachings, all right, of the men of the Lord. You know, the kingdom is increased, all right? Or shall we say that the elect will hear this word, all right, and repent and come in. And Salakia, I'm doing this lesson on the fly, and I have to kind of speak with a low tone, okay? So Salakia for that, but let's get a couple more verses here. This is Isaiah 33:5, right? Because these days, once again, are evil upon us. And I think it's going to take extraordinary. It's going to take the Spirit of the Lord to get you through it. There's no way people on this earth who are outside of this truth are going to be able to make it. You know, because it's going to take all that we have as brothers and sisters in the truth to make it. So you know, these people of the world, they don't have a shot. All right? This is Isaiah 33, and I'll just jump in at 5. The point off is 6, but I'll start at 5. It says, the Lord, Yahweh, is exalted, for he dwelleth on high, and hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord, Yahweh, is his treasure. Right. That judgment, the knowledge, the righteousness of the word, the judgments, knowing the laws, you know, to help you along the way, right? All these things are going to come into play when times get hard, okay? We're going to rely on this word through faith, right? And these words are righteousness. These words are judgments. These words are knowledge, okay? Now, I think I got one more here, and then we'll just quickly end the lesson here. But just going through it, okay, just thinking about all these things that we're starting to see in the news now, okay? It's all over the place. On every major platform, you got men, you got women, men and women who appear to be Edomites. You got men and women who appear to be so-called Israelites. Everybody has a voice now and is voicing their opinion about what's going on in the earth, and particularly here in Babylon the Great with this administration with DJ Trump at the helm, okay? Everybody's beginning to show that panic. Everything that they believe in is cracking before their eyes, all right? It's breaking down in front of them, and they're just about on panic mode. Hebrews 1:1, it says, the Most High, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir for all things, by whom also he made the worlds. Verse 3, who being the brightness of his glory and express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high, being made so much better than the angels, as he hath by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they. For unto which of the angels said he at any time, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. And again, I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me a son. And again, when he bringeth in the first begotten into the world, he saith, and let all the angels of Yahweh worship him. And of the angels he saith, who maketh his angels spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire. But unto the Son he saith, Thy throne, O power, is forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. Thou hast loved righteousness and hated iniquity. Therefore the Most High, even thy power, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. And thou, Lord, in the beginning hast laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the works of thy hands. They shall perish, but thou remainest, and they all shall wax old as doeth a garment. And as a vesture shalt thou fold them up, and they shall be changed, but thou art the same, and thy years shall not fail. But to which of the angels said he at any time, Sit on my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool? Are they not all minister spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be the heirs of salvation? You see, so ultimately all things are in the hands of Yahweh Shai, okay, created to be that, or the first created spirit, okay, above all, right? And through him, we receive that gift of faith, okay, that will help us in these last evil days, because that's what it's about now. All the things that have happened prior concerning prophecy that are fulfilled, we have maybe 3 major prophecies still left. The mandatory issuance of the MOTB, right? You got World War III, and then you have Jacob's trouble, right? And we can see all 3 of these things formed up in the earth right now, okay? And so Yahweh Shai is that faith for us. We have faith in the total, complete word of the Lord, which he is the word of the Lord, right? That became flesh, John 1:1, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, okay? And so that's where we rest. And for those of us in this faith, we have to stay vigilant, right? And depend on Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, not the things of this world, not any policies that they're trying to make, all right? We can't worry about, and we shouldn't worry about anything else that's going on. Stay focused, right? Your faith should keep you focused on the prophecies that are coming to pass, and we wait patiently for our salvation in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And with that, I'll end the lesson right there. Giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.